When all lives are valued equally, then all lives will matter.
Forms of racial prejudice is unacceptable.
Straight away, are you ready for death?
It shaked me.
My theological inclination pushes me, and I know to trust my heart.
I say to myself, when we read the Arab say, يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي, are we just saying this because it's written, or do we mean it from our hearts?
Anything you spend, He will replace it. He is the best of providers.
Jiddu, I need to tell you a secret. I had an exam today and I cheated on the exam, and to be honest, I feel like it's eating me up inside as if it's haram.
Your father used to do the exact something and would always get in trouble. But you have done it now and cannot go back. I don't know if it is haram. Khair inshallah.
Thanks, Jiddu. Jiddu, I wanted to ask if it's halal to buy lottery tickets. They're so cheap and we could make a lot of money.
I don't know if it is halal or haram, but never think about something like that again.
Okay, I was just asking. Jiddu.
تعبتني. What do you want now?
I just wanted to ask if the sweet has beef gelatin, is it halal or haram?
You're supposed to check it before buying it, not after. I don't know if this is halal or haram.
Okay.
What now? I am trying to relax. Why do you keep asking me? تعالي هنا الخاطر الله. Just go watch Ahkam SOS. Any question you have, they can answer you. You can call them, message them, anything. Ask as much as you like. They can answer any question from any marja, okay?
The holy month of Ramadan has commenced, and Imam Hussein TV is committed to providing its cherished viewers with a diverse array of high-quality educational content and special live broadcasts from the sacred land of Karbala. Among our primary broadcasts from this holy land is the live recitation of Quran directly from the holy shrine of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, offering your home a beautiful ambience of spirituality from the holy land of Karbala. In appreciation of the sponsorship for this particular live broadcast, we have curated 3 exclusive gifts of gratitude for our esteemed donors. The bronze package includes water from the holy grave of Mawla Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam, the original turba or khaki shifa, and a piece of marble from the holy shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. The silver package includes all items in the bronze package, along with a piece of carpet from around the holy darih of Abul Fadl Abbas salawatullah alayhi. The golden package comprises all items from the silver package plus a holy flag of Imam Hussein alayhi salam blessed on the holy dome and darih of Imam. To reserve your preferred package and sponsor the broadcast of Imam Hussein TV, kindly contact our Karbala office via WhatsApp using the number displayed on your screen.
Since the start of creation of mankind, there has been a problem that has risen, that of racism.
And therefore, what differentiates human being is their level of awareness of God in their life.
Racism arises from ego and arrogance, and it all started with Satan.
Islam wants us to have healthy relationship, healthy social interaction.
I can't breathe is now a way of actually experiencing. And what would it be like to be choked? What would it be like to be not to be able to breathe?
The death of George Floyd sparked protests in cities across the US and many parts of the world.
It's just another murder that's been caught on film, but millions of people are murdered for their race everywhere around the world.
When all lives are valued equally, then all lives will matter.
Forms of racial prejudice is unacceptable.
Straight away, are you ready for death?
It shaked me. My theological inclination pushes me, and I know to trust my heart.
I say to myself, when we read the Arab say, يَا لَيْتَنَا كُنَّا مَعَكُمْ سَادَتِي, are we just saying this because it's written, or do we mean it from our hearts?
Anything you spend, He will replace it. He is the best of providers.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, and welcome to Ahkam SOS Ramadan edition. Inshallah, this is a live show. We'll be taking all your questions, and any question you have, you can send them in via the WhatsApp. The number should be there below. Scan the QR code and we'll put that on. That will take you straight to the WhatsApp page, and you can ask a question there. You can call into the studio 0203 515 0199, or if you're watching on social media, Facebook Live, or you're watching on YouTube, you can put your questions into the comment section. But before we begin, big congratulations on the blessed month of the holy month of Ramadan. We are here. It has finally arrived. We've been waiting for so long for this blessed occasion where all of our amal are multiplied. We will be refraining from eating and drinking during daylight hours, and then we'll be, taking our spirits and souls towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have joyous occasions coming up. We have also occasions where we'll be remembering Amir al-Mu'mineen and we'll be remembering the Ahlul Bayt. And of course, we have the nights of Qadr where we will give our hajat to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah. We have so much to come during this holy month. And inshallah, myself and Sheikh will be with you every day during the holy month of Ramadan to answer your questions and your inquiries in regards to Islamic law. I'm your host, Mohsin Shah, and joining me is Sheikh Ali Ma'ash. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa shahr Mubarak.
Shahr Ramadan Mubarak to you too, Sheikhna. How have you been?
Alhamdulillah.
It's been a couple of weeks. We haven't seen each other.
Exactly.
But Alhamdulillah, we're here in Ramadan at a nice later time than normal. Normally we're on at 7 o'clock. But Alhamdulillah, we had, Sayyid Ammar with his great lecture. Now it is our turn, inshallah, to help the viewers of Imam Hussein TV. But Sheikhna, how have things been with you? How have you, prepared for Ramadan? Because last year you was in Karbala, no?
Yes, indeed. Alhamdulillah, it was an opportunity and a blessing from Allah Azza wa Jal that I had the tawfiq to have the live show of the Ahkam SOS from the holy city of Karbala, just within meters from the holy shrine. It was a great night, to be honest, and it was almost Sahar time, 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. in Karbala time. So, the brother who was presenter was a great brother as well, a friend and a brother as well. And Alhamdulillah, the atmosphere was all spiritual. The shrine of Imam Hussein salamullah behind Al-Abbas alayhi salam. So it was a great opportunity to be there and serve the community, Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah, inshallah. Yourself, myself, and all the viewers will get an opportunity to go do the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah Hussein, inshallah. Sheikhna, before we begin, because questions are coming in right now. First question I wanted to ask you for tonight is, do you have any advice that you'd like to give to the viewers in regards to the holy month of Ramadan? We've just begun this journey to help our spirits and so forth. Anything you want to say to the viewers before we begin answering the questions?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. The Holy Quran mentions about the holy month of Ramadan, هدى للناس. Indeed, the Holy Quran is a guidance for the people, which was revealed in this holy month. So, hidayah and guidance for the people, nas, not the muttaqeen. We have hudan lil muttaqeen in the Surah Al-Baqarah. But this verse is for the month of Ramadan and the Holy Quran, hudan lil nas. In other words, the Quran and this holy month would guide everyone. Those who even commit sins, I've seen this, they would stop committing sins in the daytime. They would refrain even doing some acts in this holy month.
In a way, they kind of respect the holy month and say, look, throughout the year I sin, but this month, no, I'm not going to.
Exactly.
MashaAllah. Sheikhna, we begin Ramadan with the moon sighting. We always look for the moon. Is tomorrow going to be the first? Are we fasting tomorrow and so forth? Islamically speaking, Sheikhna, what are the rules in regards to the moon sighting of the holy month of Ramadan?
And overall, basically we have the ulama offices and the maraja office that we go back to in order to get the verdict or the moon sighting for the holy month of Ramadan and for the Eid al-Fitr as well. So they have experts in this field. They have shuhud udul, in other words, just witnesses who can actually go there. They have the knowledge of the crescent, the size, the length, and so forth, that they can easily tell that, yes, this is the sign of the first night of the holy month of Ramadan. So that's why you see that they would go and do the moon sighting. Most of the, if not all of them, ulama's offices, they would go and they have experts in this field, udul in this field, to go back and do the moon sighting. And that's why we rely on them. That's why we would wait until the office of the specific marja would issue the statement that tomorrow is the first day, and that's why we follow their statements and announcements.
Just a quick reminder to all our viewers that this is a live show. We do take in your questions. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, please scan the QR code, should be there in the corner. If not, you can send it in via Facebook Live or on YouTube. You can put your questions in the comment section. You can call into the studio 0203-515-0199. Whichever way you want to contact us. We don't need to know your name. We don't need to know where you're asking from. Just, you know what I mean, put your question forward and inshallah myself and the Sheikh will be able to answer all your inquiries. Okay, Sheikh, now let's start off. This one's from WhatsApp. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Does a splinter prevent water from reaching the skin in wudu? I tried scrubbing it off, but it won't come off. Not sure what to do. I am a follower of Sayyid Sistani.
You see, overall, if there's a, let's say, bandage or plaster on one's arm, for example, and they can't remove it, then you have the next stage of making the wudu with the title of wudu jabira, which means wudu with the state of having a splinter on your arm, for example. So you have to basically, when you perform the wudu, you have to gently wipe on that plaster or bandage, not to wash it because you're going to ruin it. So just basically wash your arm, and then on that plaster or bandage, you just gently rub on it, and then continue the wudu.
I don't think he meant splinter. When you get like a little piece of wood or something stuck in your fingertips. The small
If they prevent the reach of water on the skin, then you have to remove it. So those who work with painting and so forth.
Carpentry especially,
exactly, you have to remove it,
Fair. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. I've heard that we Shia can also perform Taraweeh prayers individually. If yes, how should one perform it?
You see, the Taraweeh wasn't Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at all.
Whether it was farada or in Jama'ah.
What happened exactly? That Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pray mustahab farada in his mosque. And when they saw the Prophet was basically praying, they came to join him as Jama'ah. That's what the Prophet went home straight away. He didn't stay. But later on, Umar ibn Khattab, he came and he established Salat al-Taraweeh in Jama'ah. And he said that ni'matul bid'ah هذه.
Yes.
So he confesses that it is a good bid'ah.
A great innovation, as he says. Fair enough. But if somebody wants to pray it by themselves on their own, are they allowed to?
You have to go back to the books of the Ad'iyah, عدة الداعي, مفاتيح الجنان, منتخب الحسني, other books of Ad'iyah, ضياء الصالحين, to see exactly what mustahab salah for each night. It's mentioned in at least 2 rak'ah. For example, we have 2 rak'ah each night.
Yes.
After Hamd, 3 Qul Wallah.
Yes.
In each rak'ah, in both rak'ah, like Salat al-Subh.
Okay.
And then there's a small dua you recite after this 2 rak'ah praise with 3 Qul Wallah.
That's every night.
Every night, inshallah.
That's one of the amala.
Yeah.
MashaAllah.
Yes.
More to come. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum. Does perfume break the fast? Okay, Sheikhna, we need to be specific here. Wearing the perfume, and then there's smelling the perfume, or it's so strong you can taste it in your mouth and so forth. So which one, if any, break the fast?
We're going to come inshallah to what breaks the fast in a few minutes time inshallah. But in terms of the wearing perfume in the month of Ramadan, as mentioned in the narration, it's tuhfatul sa'im, a masterpiece for the one who's fasting. It's like a gift. No, it's mustahab. Try to use perfume in this holy month. Exactly.
Fair enough. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. I left London to move to Norwich for university. Can I consider both my parents' house and my current university accommodation as my hometown or watan?
If you stay in that city for, let's say, and you consider as your watan, your second watan. That's what I did when I went to Sayyida Zainab alayhi salam for the Hawza studies. I took it as a second watan. I stayed there for the whole year to study Hawza, for example. So this now became my second watan, or Qom or Najaf. Now we have brothers who are in Najaf from London. They study there. In this case, you pray kamil, yani you pray full salah. Even if you go for a holiday or for let's say ziyarah, if you stay 10 days in that city and you make an intention that I'm going to stay at least 10 days and over in that city, you have to pray full and fast as well. Now, if you travel tomorrow to Karbala, for example, you want to stay, let's say, till 15th month Ramadan or Layali Qadr, and you make the intention to stay there for 20 days, let's say, in holy city of Karbala, khalas. You pray full and you fast as well. So that's the hukum.
MashaAllah. From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Hope you are well. I wanted I wanted to know if tomorrow is the first day of the holy month of Ramadan for the followers of Sayyid Sadiq Shirazi, just like it was for the followers of Sayyid Sistani. I think, Sheikhna, this year, all the offices of all the Maraja were unanimous that Tuesday the 12th of March would be the first fast that we'll be keeping, yes?
Yes, indeed. I received 4 messages from 4 offices of the Ayatollahs announcing the month of Ramadan tomorrow. From Ayatollah Sistani, Ayatollah Shirazi, Ayatollah Bahid Khurasani, and Ayatollah Mudarrisi. At least 4 offices confirmed for tomorrow, inshallah.
Sheikh, we have a phone call from one of our viewers. Inshallah, we'll be able to help them with their query. Assalamu alaikum, viewer.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam. Ramadan Kareem to you. Your question, please, for the Sheikh.
So I turned taklif a few months ago, and this will be my first year fasting. How do I know which day is the first of Ramadan to start my fast?
Okay, no problem. I will ask the Sheikh for you now. Thank you for your phone call. And keep watching Ahkam SOS on Imam Hussein TV. Sheikhna, the young viewer there wanted to know, how do we know, when it is the first of Ramadan so that we can begin to fast?
I just mentioned a few minutes ago that we rely on the office of the ulama and Maraja. When they announce that tomorrow is the first or the last day of the month, of the current month, for example. So you have to see the office of the marja you follow, and of course your parents will tell you exactly if it's more Eid or month of Ramadan or any other.
I think we need to mention also it's a duty upon us to inquire. We need to visit the mosque, call certain offices, social media, the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. All the offices have an official page and they give announcements, so it is very easy for you to inquire and find out. Questions here coming from YouTube. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. A couple who have a baby under 1 year old, the wife is very angry towards the husband and is verbally abusive due to because they're struggling financially. What advice do you have for them, especially for the husband? So we've got a very young couple here. They've got a 1 year old baby, going through some financial difficulty. Obviously, the wife is feeling a bit stressed, takes out her anger on the husband and so forth. What advice do you have for them, Sheikh?
وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Very clear verses of the Holy Quran. To be good with your spouses.
Ahsant.
And the famous word in Arabic, tafahum, to understand each other. Put your shoes, your foot in her shoes, for example, as I say, and the opposite. And try to see how she thinks, and the opposite, how he thinks. This is the best way to be able to solve your problems and disputes. Otherwise, could end up to, na'udhu billah, la samahallah, break up and divorce.
Fair. Just a quick reminder to all the viewers that this is a live show. We do take in your questions. MashaAllah, so many questions are coming in right now. If you want to jump the queue, call in 0203 515 0199. We had a very young viewer call in just now. If you want your question answered straight away, give us a call and we'll be more than happy to help. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Is it permissible to pray with my eyes closed because I feel more close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Jazakallah khairan.
What is known is to basically look at the turba, at the muhr, while praying. That's what we have.
Fair.
And for
Shouldn't
example,
close your eyes.
exactly, even if you're in the state of the sujood and prostration, to look, down, just on your nose side, yeah.
From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum. Are you able to speak to your husband with pet names while fasting? Oh, that's cute, isn't it? Pet names. Sheikh, pet names are, for example, you might have a name for your husband or wife. Sometimes it's like petal or, butterfly or love, habibi, things like that. Are you allowed to call your spouse these names during your fast?
I mean, as long as it's not insultive to the other side and they are happy with it, that's fine. There's a story, let me just mention this story in a few seconds, that there was a alim who had a wife and her name was Sakina. But he used to call her Sakku. And she wasn't pleased with it. So when he died, of course, they saw him in the dream, his friends, that he's in difficulty. So when they went back to the wife, she said that he used to call me in this way. So she wasn't happy with it. But alhamdulillah, she gave the the permission, or she was pleased with what happened, and eventually they saw him again and he was in a good state. So it would affect the one in the hereafter. ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب. Don't basically insult each other with bad or abusive names or titles or agnomens, for example.
Fair. From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. I have a question for the Sheikh. Is smoking cigarettes permitted during fasting? I follow Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani.
No, it's not permitted. It would break the fast.
Is that same with vapes as well? Then?
I mean, usually it's احتياط وجوبي with regards to the smoking.
Cigarettes. Okay.
Yeah, with احتياط وجوبي mainly.
Because it's not really food or water, is it? But then again, something is going down the throat. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. I'm confused about Imsak and Fajr praying times. What is the difference, Sheikhna, between Imsak and Fajr Adhan?
Imsak is just to give a gap and a break just before the Fajr time. Otherwise, a minute before the Fajr, you can stop eating. You can stop eating. If you have the exact time, like if you're in Pakistan, Iraq, Iran, where you can easily define Fajr. The problem here in Europe, you cannot define Fajr.
Too much light.
One of the ulama said that we asked some experts and they said there are 6 Fajr in the UK. 6 Fajr.
Wow.
Because we have Fajr al-Sadiq and Fajr al-Kadhib. And this is visible in the Middle East.
Yes.
But in Europe, you could see 6 Fajrs. And you don't know which one exactly is the right Fajr, for example. That's why we have differences now. If you look at the calendars or timetables of the prayers, in the centers, Iraqi, Irani, Khoja, Pakistani, it's going to be different. You see at least 15 minutes, 10 minutes difference between each center. So that's the problem, because they couldn't define the exact time of Fajr. So that's why leave ihtiyat always 5-10 minutes before the actual adhan time.
Fantastic. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum. I have a question. Can I say the full salawat in prayer before ending the prayer when I say the shahada? I think we do, don't we? When we
say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're asking for the extended one when you bring in, Ali Ibrahim.
I haven't seen such that, but usually they would say stick with the formal way of saying the salah.
Sheikh, now we have another phone call. Inshallah, we'll be able to get through to our viewer. Assalamu alaikum. You're live on Ahkam SOS.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, brother? Ramadan Kareem to you.
Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah.
Thank you. I had a question.
Yeah, please. The Sheikh is here. Go ahead.
If I am traveling, is it allowed to continue fasting, or is it not permissible to fast?
Great question.
Let's say I'm actually meeting the requirements of a traveler. I've left my home city, and it's less than 10 days. But let's say I'm just going for a day, and I just want to keep my fast, so I don't have to make it up later. Is it okay if I continue my fast?
Sheikh, would you like any more information, or is that enough?
That's fine.
Yeah?
That's fine. Inshallah.
Thank you very much for your call. Inshallah, the Sheikh will answer your question now. Sheikh, now traveling while fasting, depending on what time you leave and come back, there's different rulings. So inshallah, we'll go through them. But please, Sheikh, now.
Yes, for the traveler, as one ulama mentions, that it's a gift from Allah Azza wa Jal for the one who is fasting to break his fast in travel. It's Allah's, let's say, concession, gift to the mu'min, to the believer, men and women, that they have to break. They have to break. Not it's optional. They have to break their fast in travel. And we'll mention, inshallah, the details about how many miles and so forth. Had the tarakhus, all these things later, inshallah.
I mean, there's also, if you leave before Dhuhr and come back before Dhuhr.
Exactly.
If you leave after Dhuhr, there's a lot of
so I mean, you have to
rulings.
break your fast in travel, and you have to shorten your salah.
Yeah.
So instead of praying 8 rak'ah, Dhuhr and Asr, you pray only 4 rak'ah, 2 by 2.
Exactly.
It's a concession. Allah Azza wa Jalla wants ease for the. It's a merciful, Lord Azza wa Jal wants to ease the hayat for us.
Inshallah. Another question from YouTube. We've answered this one, but we'll do it again. Is it permissible for using perfume during the holy month of Ramadan?
As I mentioned, yes.
Not a problem. Sheikhna, you were mentioning that there are those things that invalidate the fast. I think In Arabic, we call them
Muftarat.
Muftarat.
Exactly, muftarat.
So obviously we know eating and drinking, that's a given.
Exactly.
What are the other muftarat that we have in regards to fasting?
I mean, for the eating, drinking, we need at least 5-10 minutes to elaborate. Yeah. So let me start with the eating and drinking. Number one, if somebody intentionally breaks his fast with the food, any kind of food, bread, meat, chicken, and so forth, or with the drink, water, I don't know, fizzy drinks, orange juice, and so forth, it will break the fast intentionally, and there's a kafara for it as well. So that's the first thing. Now somebody might say, well, I don't want to eat or drink, but I'm gonna, let's say, eat soil or clay.
Okay.
Again, even if you eat anything that goes inside the throat, be it paper, ahsant, soil, small pebbles, which are harmful, of course, you know, God forbid, you know, acid, petrol,
bleach,
something that is even harmful, which is, of course, one should avoid them, still breaks the fast. So mainly these are in which one should avoid in this holy month of Ramadan. It's a test for us that we can test our patience and sabr, and to prove to Allah that we are His abid and His servants, and to show the obedience towards Allah Azza wa Jalla.
Yes, fantastic. Just a quick reminder to all our viewers that this is a live show, and we do take in your questions. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask in regards to Islamic law, you may have a question on marriage, traveling, business, your contract transactions. You may have a question on Hajj. Any question you have whatsoever, we don't need to know your name, we don't need to know where you're asking from. Just send in your questions, and inshallah, myself and the Sheikh will be able to answer them. Sheikh, you were mentioning the invalidators and so forth.
Yes, I'm going to mention one thing about eating and drinking. If somebody unintentionally starts to eat as a daily routine, let's say he wakes up on the first day of the month of Ramadan and he starts to have tea or coffee.
Yeah. He forgot that he was fasting.
He forgot. In this case, that fast would not be nullified or becomes batil, because he wasn't aware of the that he's in the state of fasting and siyam, and he should avoid eating and drinking.
Just continue the fast.
So just continue the fast.
And if you accidentally eat something, this is a risk from Allah, you know, and you get thawab for it as well, and it's a blessing from Allah that you forgot because you were so. Either you were used to fasting and you kind of forgot you were fasting and you went back to your old ways or whatever, and it can really it's difficult and it's strange, but sometimes it happens. People do eat or drink while they're fasting, they forget. Yeah. But this is the blessing from Allah sometimes.
Again,
it's a risk for Allah.
One of the Allah's, as you mentioned, blessing and ease. Yuridullah bikum al-yusr. This is the religion of yusr, of ease. I mean, compared to other nations we had, Bani Israel and others. This religion is really, compared to others, it's really a yusur religion, a rahmah, as Allah says about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ, a mercy towards the worlds, and not just this world. Alameen means plural of worlds. So it's rahmah. This religion is a rahmah. But sadly, there are people or governments try to misinterpret and to distort the image of Islam using different tools, sadly.
Sheikh, I have a question here from YouTube, with your permission. Does chewing gum invalidate one's fast?
If the parts of the chewing gum, let's say, or if there's a, let's say, taste or the flavor of, let's say, banana, strawberry, would basically, when chewing, would go inside the throat and would break, definitely.
Fair. Salam, Sheikhna. How is imamah passed down? That's from WhatsApp. That's a really good question. Sheikhna, we know that with Aimma, it has already been predetermined who the imams are going to be. But when one is about to pass and they, not elect, but they begin the next, they pass over the leadership and authority to the next one. How is this done?
You see, initially we have to go back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As we say, we follow the sunnah of Rasulullah.
Yeah.
And to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah, you have to see the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in the books of the Shia and the non-Shia that the imams after me are 12. And all of them are from Quraysh. كلهم من Quraysh. So who are those 12? if you count from, as the Ahl Sunnah have, the first, second, third, fourth, who is six? Is it Yazid, for example, who killed Al Hussein alayhi salam? Is it Bani Marwan? There are more than 36, 40 caliphs, so-called caliphs. So no other than Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And even you can prove it through the famous hadith of Thiqlain, that the Prophet said, I leave two weighty things, Kitabullah wa itrati Ahli Bayti, mentioned in Sahih Muslim and other Sahih Muslimin 4 or 5 times, that I leave two weighty things, the Book of Allah and my family, Ahlul Bayti. So we can easily, from Qarina, find out that those 12 are from Ahlul Bayt, and none other than Ali, Hassan and Hussein till Imam al-Hujjah, Ajallah Farajahu al-Sharif.
But also, Sheikhna, when the Imam, passes the authority to the next one, there's something that they whisper in the air, or they say something to the next. For example, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Abu Abdullah Hussein, he said something, he whispered something to Imam Sajjad before he went for his final battle, and so forth. The trust, they call it, I think, or something like that. Is that what happens?
Yes, before they pass away, they would pass this trust, and they would mention that the next Imam is, for example, my son, let's Imam Rida alayhi salam, Imam al-Jawad, and so forth. They would advise and they would give this will to the next Imam that he will be, and he will assign him as the next Imam, because that Imam has many sons.
Yes.
Like Imam al-Askari alayhi salam, he had, or for example, Imam Ali alayhi salam.
18.
He passed away with 19 sons in a narration in Kitab al-Kafi. 19 sons.
MashaAllah.
So how could you define who is the next Imam? He appoints before his death.
Yes.
That the next is Al-Hassan, my son, will take over the leadership.
Awesome. Sheikh, now we have a phone call from one of our viewers. Inshallah, we will be able to help them. Assalamu alaikum, viewer. You are live on Ahkam SOS.
Wa alaikum assalam. Just a question. Is it permissible to, during the holy month of Ramadan, to curse the enemies of the Ahlul Bayt, or is that something that should be stopped?
Sorry, can you say that again? Can you say that question again, please?
Sorry. So during the holy month of Ramadan, is it permissible to curse the enemies of the Ahlul Bayt, or is it something that should be stopped?
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your question. Inshallah, the Sheikh will answer it now. Sheikhna, during the holy month of Ramadan, to curse the enemies of the Ahlul Bayt, is this something we can do during Ramadan? Is this something recommended? Or should we stop it during the holy month of Ramadan?
I think I started the session with وَلْعَنْ أَعْدَاءَهُمْ.
Always.
That's it.
I think we forget that when we curse the enemies, when we do tabarra, this is part of ibadah, this is part of our faith, it is part of our, furu'id-din, and it is...
And usul al-din as well.
And it is...
And usul al-din.
It is...
Because the imam, usul al-din. So the walaya is usul al-din. And the opposite is the bara'ah. So they come in line together. You cannot have the wilayat of Musa and you don't hate or ignore Fir'aun.
Yes.
You have to show wilayat of Musa that time, and to show to zone from the wilayat of Fir'aun. You can't say, no, I respect both of them. No, you can't. You have to show. Like today's world, you have enemies, you have leaders who are killing and butchering people. You have to show your bara'ah from them and wilayah from those who are salihin and mu'mineen.
Ahsant, Sheikh, ahsant. I think there's a lot of people confused in regards to tabarra, what it is, how it should be done, whether there's a time and place for it, or whether this is something extreme and we need to let go. But here on Ahkam SOS, we've talked about tabarra before. We've even talked about mentioning names as well, and we've always stood by haqq and what our books and what the Ahlul Bayt have taught us, which is that tabarra is part of our faith. This is something we cannot ignore, and it's not something that we can drop. This is something that is with us, and it is an integral part of our faith that we disassociate from the enemies of Allah and the enemies of the Ahlul Bayt. So, inshallah, I hope that clears the answer for you. More and more questions coming here, Sheikh. Now let's start YouTube. Dear Sheikh, during Hajj, we have to offer a 2-unit prayer behind the maqam of Ibrahim alayhi salam. What do we do nowadays since Umar bin Khattab moved the maqam from its original spot?
You just pray behind it, at the very back.
Okay.
I mean, I prayed on my first Hajj just next to the maqam, you know, just a bit, like a half meter behind the maqam. And it was so packed, it was difficult. Now, alhamdulillah, ulama would allow it, made the fatwa easy, that you can pray way behind, you know, where they actually sit and watch the mu'tamirin and the hujjaj.
Fair enough.
And tawaf.
From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. From seeing the moon of Ramadan, I know there's a law. If it is seen in the east, it is applicable for those who live in the west. The law is applicable in winter and summertime. Is this true?
This is to do with a difference opinion in terms of the wahdat al-ufuq and ikhtilaf al-ufuq. So that's something, a fiqh issue in which some ulama would consider, as you mentioned, to be seen in the west can be also taken in the east. And but some would not accept it, only from the east towards the west.
Okay.
That's why we rely on Iraq and Iran for the Eid and for the day of Ramadan.
Interesting, because even when it comes to the time, Australia is the most ahead in time. So technically it's tomorrow in Australia already, and then slowly comes towards America, which is right behind. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Is 30 minutes after Salat al-Maghrib that we can break the fast?
No, what we have, what the non-Shias have, by the sunset, suqut al-qurs, as mentioned in the fiqh books, suqut al-qurs. By the sunset, they start opening the fast and praying Maghrib. But we have to wait till وأتم الصيام إلى الليل. What is layl? Is it sunset layl or a bit of darkness? That's why we wait at least 15 to 20 minutes. So we wait to that till layl, as the Quran mentions, and then we open our fast and salah as well.
More questions coming in. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. From WhatsApp, does it matter if one is a Sayyid or non-Sayyid? Example, why is only Sayyid allowed to wear the green or black turban? Why are non-Sayyids have to wear white?
Previously, it seems to be that they used to wear like white, green, black, but now things change just to make sure that we differentiate between the Sayyid and the non-Sayyid, because many came, sadly, and announced that they were Sayyids and they are not Sayyid, basically. So claiming to be Sayyids.
Yes.
So just to make sure that who is Sayyid and who is not non-Sayyid.
I mean, we have riwayah that the Imam Ali, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, he wore a white imamah or a cream one, and they wore imamas and they wore different colors, but the green was associated with Bani Hashim, and apparently they wear black because of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn's death hasn't been avenged. When it is avenged, the Sayyids will start to wear their green turbans again. Apparently, this is what I've heard. But this is why they wear black. More questions coming in, Sheikhna. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. I have a question. Can I do wudu using a spray bottle as I have a small office and I don't have tap water inside my office to do wudu? That is a really good question. Sheikhna.
What is important that you wash your face. فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ. The unwan and the subject of ghusl, of washing your face and arms should be applied and implemented. So if you have drops of water pouring on your arm, that's the ghusl.
Doesn't matter if it's from a tap or a glass or a spray bottle or a water bottle.
Or even a spoon.
A spoon, wow.
As long as it's ghusl, you're washing.
To wash.
فَغْسِلُوا, washing. So there's a drops dropping. Other than the wiping, which is only just to wipe the moist of your hand on your foot or your head, for example. That's the difference.
From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Is it permissible to pray behind a Sunni imam in a Sunni masjid where there isn't a Shia masjid?
No, we have a condition that even to pray behind a Shia imam, he must be just and adil. And you have to establish the adala and the justice of that Shia imam or Maulana who's praying that mosque. You can't just walk and pray and walk out.
Yeah. So, but if it's a Sunni mosque and a Sunni leader, that's even worse. Ahsantum. Sheikhna from WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum. My brother travels to uni from Milton Keynes to London 3 times a week. What is the ruling regarding to fast? Of course, during these 3 days, sometimes he doesn't have to go and sometimes he does. So is he considered a traveler? So can he fast or not? Okay, it says here he travels 3 times a week from Milton Keynes to London.
For work.
I'm not sure what it's for, but it seems it's regular. So if he's doing 3 times a week regularly, then he's considered a frequent traveler, no?
Yes, if it's for work and study and so forth, and he becomes a frequent kathir al-safar, then he needs to fast and to complete in full as well his salah.
So he carries on normal.
Exactly, normal.
You mentioned there work and study. What if he's visiting family? What if he routinely goes on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday to visit his mum and dad in London?
We have to see what ulama say, because now this is not to do with working or studying.
Yeah.
This is an issue, because what is mentioned is about the one who works and the one who studies, for example. Just routine visiting, we have to find out.
Fair, no problem. More questions coming in. This is a really good one. From YouTube, did Fatima Zahra's house have a door or was it a curtain? I've actually read this discussion in a book. I can't remember the name of the book. I've got it at home. But there was a really, really good discussion in regards to that. And it concluded that yes, there were doors and it was a door. But Sheikh, some say that there were no doors at that time. It was just a curtain and so forth. So how come we mentioned the door of Zahra salamu alayha?
What shall we say with the hadith which says وَسَدَّ الْأَبْوَابِ إِلَّا بَابَهُ? The Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ordered that all the doors which is towards the mosque of the Masjid of Rasulullah in Medina to be closed except the door of Fatima and Ali alayhi salam. وَسَدَّ الْأَبْوَابِ إِلَّا بَابَهُ. And this famous hadith.
Fair enough. So there was definitely a door.
Definitely, 100% with nails.
MashaAllah. From YouTube, there, Sheikh, what do you say about the hadith of the 73 sects in Islam?
It's mentioned, yes, it's a famous hadith that 72 will go to the hellfire.
I want to pick your brain, Sheikh. I want to pick your brain. The hadith says there are 73 different sects. One is right and the others are wrong. These sects that we're discussing, are they all the madhabs that are in Islam, or are they 73 different types of Shia that have the wilayah of Amir al-Mu'mineen and one is correct?
You might find different opinions by the ulama describing the issue that is it actually now complete? Do we have now complete 73 madhabs?
Yes.
Or we're still going to have more madhab? Again, another discussion.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting though.
Yeah.
From YouTube, this is a really good question. What are mustahab salah for Ramadan? You mentioned one, Sheikh, reciting 2 rak'ah, reciting Surah Ikhlas 3 times in both rak'at.
Each rak'ah, yeah. 3
but
times.
are there any other ones you know? We know that on Laylatul Qadr there's 100 times Surah Ikhlas in 2 rak'at salah, and there's a 10 in Anzalna Surah Qadr 10 times in each rak'ah, and then there's many throughout the whole of Ramadan. But Sheikh, anyone you know off the top of your head?
I think the best source is to go back to the book of Mafatih al-Janan, for example, and other books of Ad'iyah. It will mention a'mal every night of the month of Ramadan. So, for example, I just opened a few hours ago, a'mal laylatul ula min shahr Ramadan, the first night of the month of Ramadan, and it tells you the Ad'iyah to recite. If you see the crescent, the hilal, there's a few du'as about it, and then other Ad'iyah again. And then you have the 2 rak'ah mentioned to start with. And then you have also specific namaz or salah for tonight. The first night
for every night, okay.
Yeah, it's different than the one I mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, so
MashaAllah.
Best source is to go back to Mafatih al-Janan and other books of Ad'iyah and to find out.
I think we must mention though, for those of you who have qada prayers, they will take priority, they will take precedent before any amal that you want to do, mustahabat. We should always pray your qada prayers first. More questions here, Sheikh. Now let's do the YouTube ones, they're quite good. If you touch something najis, will your fast break?
It's not part of the, I've got now, for example, 10 or 11 of the invalidities or muftarat of the fast. Eating, drinking, marital intercourse, masturbation, ascribing lie to Allah and the Holy Prophet, and his pure family, sallallahu alayhi wa ajma'een. Letting thick dust reach one's throat, immersing one's head in water, according to some ulama.
That's fully submerging, isn't it? Yeah.
Head, just the head. Just the head.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Remaining in a state of janaba or hayd or nifas till adhan al-fajr.
Yeah.
You have to make sure you do ghusl before adhan al-fajr.
Yes.
Don't stay in janaba or hayd or ala kull hal. Make sure you have the purity before entering the fasting day. Enema, which is old way of injecting from the bottom side of the body.
Yeah. They inject water or something.
Yeah,
It can go all the way to the stomach. Yeah.
All the way to the stomach. Vomiting, number 10. And that's it, really. I haven't seen anything like touching najis or touching something.
No problem.
Yeah.
Sheikhna, we've got about 6 minutes left, I think, and I've got a lot of questions. So let's do this quickly as we can. The brother mentioned in regards to the viewer said, if I've got a splinter in my hand, does the wudu is correct or not? He says, or she says, the splinter is underneath the skin now. So is my wudu still okay or not?
So underneath the skin, and it's visible, basically.
Yeah. So you look down, sometimes you'll have a dot or something like that, or a speck, but it's gone really deep in, like it's underneath the skin now.
If she can't remove it, خلاص بعد. It becomes like a hukum of the, as I've said, hukum wudu jabiri, or ghusl jabir as a result.
From WhatsApp, it's my first time fasting. May Allah accept your amal, inshallah. I'm in South Africa and need help starting from Fajr and onwards as what I must do. Okay, if you need help on what you are to do during the Ramadan and so forth, you need to contact your local Hussainia, or maybe you have friends that are Shia or so forth. They can help you. If not, inshallah, let us know exactly what you need, and the Sheikh will be able to help you. Just email us at Imam Hussein TV. We'll be more than happy to help. From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Is masturbating haram or makruh? And please tell me why. Asking for a friend, and can you give him tips to stop, inshallah? Barakallah bik. Okay, first of all, masturbation totally haram. Sheikh, you've mentioned it breaks the fast as well.
One of the muharramat, because sometimes you break your fast with muhallalat. So you break with fast, you break your fast with something which is halal, let's say food or drink, halal food and drink. But to break your fast with alcohol,
with haram.
or let's say with the na'udhu billah zina or masturbation, then that would be multiple kafara. You have only one kafara for the halal, eat or drink.
So I think it's all three, isn't it?
Exactly.
All three, yeah. In terms of advice, please look up the No Fap movement, NOFAP, No Fap movement. Really, really helps you understand why masturbation is bad and the benefits of staying away from masturbation and retaining your seed, is as they say. Very, very beneficial and can help you. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. I just went for a nap, and when I went to sleep, I experienced 2 sleep paralysis. Isn't shaitan locked up during Ramadan, or is this unrelated to jinn and shaitan? This is totally unrelated to jinn and shaitan, sleep paralysis, and it's got nothing to do with that. But Sheikhna, are you aware of sleep paralysis when you're sleeping and then you can't move, and I think you wake up and for a couple of seconds it's difficult for you to move and so forth?
I mean, initially one should go back to the medical experts in this field.
It's very common, sleep paralysis.
It's important to see, to diagnose, blood tests and so forth before imagining something else, you know, jinn or whatever.
From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. When doing the mas'ah on the scalp during wudu, does the water have to touch the scalp, or is it fine if it goes over the hair, and does it have to be the exact middle of the head? Sheikh, there's a difference of opinion here. I've heard others say you have to split your hair and you know, wipe on the scalp and has to go forward up to the hairline. We've read from Alam al-Hili's Tabsat al-Alamin, doesn't have to be on the scalp, it can be on the hair, and even that is sufficient. It even said you can put your head there and you can move the head like this, and that is sufficient. And it just needs to be a little bit of rubbing is more than enough. Sheikhna, what is the fatwa on this?
No, today's ulama would say that you just have to wipe it on your head. It's fine, there's no issue. Yes, for the ghusl, you have to make sure that the water reaches the scalp, rather than just your hair. That's the difference with the ghusl. So for the wudu, it's fine.
On the hair is fine?
It's yeah, it's fine.
Does it have to be all the way down to the
just
fringe, or just a little bit?
Small move just there.
Fair enough. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. How do we prove that maltam or latam is not haram? Sheikhna, we have many stories in regards to the Anbiya, the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Adam slapped his thigh so hard for so long that all the meat went. We have the wife of Nabi Ibrahim, Sarah, when she received news that she was going to have a baby, and because she was very, very old, and then, you know, some say her menstrual cycle started and she slapped her face and so forth. We have a lot of examples of, you know, self-beating and self-hitting, so maltam and latam. And they are used to support evidence for maltam and latam. But how do we, for those who say that latam is haram, what do we say to them?
Let's leave all aside and go back to the Holy Quran, one of the main sources of the Sharia, of Allah's rulings. The ayah about when Yaqub alayhi salam cried so much in which
blind.
وَبْيَضَتْ عَيْنَاهُ. His eyes became white.
Yeah.
Almost, he couldn't see.
Yeah.
So if Yaqub, the Prophet, is allowed to cry so much to lose his sight or his eyes becomes white, then, and we don't see any condemnation from Allah Azza wa Jal condemning this kind of act, then why should we take this so lightly when it comes to Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, Safinatun Najat, Sayyid Shabab Ahl al-Jannah, and not to cry a few drops or a few slaps on the cheek or on the chest. When Yaqub, his eyes became white, and Allah didn't say this is wrong, this is batil, this is shirk, this is kufr. فهو كظيم.
Sheikh, isn't it true? And I've read this in the Sunni books that when the Prophet passed away, they say that Aisha was scratching her face and crying when she found out that the Prophet died. This is in their books.
Anyhow, that doesn't really matter us because we don't take our Sharia from Aisha. Yes, they have a saying which says, خُذُوا نِصْفَ دِينَكُم مِّنْ عَائِشَةٍ. Take half of your religion from Aisha. I don't know how she became the half of the religion to be taken from her, in which she eventually waged war against Amir al-Mu'min Ali alayhi salam in the battle of Camel and Jamal and caused bloodshed. Thousands of Sahaba and Tabi'in were killed because of her waging war against at least the fourth Khalifa that they believe in.
Yes.
So
fair enough. Sheikhna, that's all we have time for. Thank you very much, and thank you for all the viewers for joining us on our first episode, Ramadan special of Ahkam SOS. If I didn't read out your question, I do apologize, but these questions will be rolled over till tomorrow. Yes, me and Sheikh are here for every day of Ramadan, inshallah. We're going to be back tomorrow, 8:30, live here on Imam Hussein TV. If you have any question you'd like to ask, just scan the QR code. Whether you're watching now, whether you're watching during the daytime, whenever you're watching, scan the QR code, put your question in, and inshallah, in the evening of that day, we will answer all of your questions. It can be on any topic whatsoever. We don't need to know your name or where you're asking from. Just put in your question, and inshallah, we will be able to help you with your inquiry. Thank you so much. Join us tomorrow, 8:30 here on Imam Hussein TV3. And inshallah, please keep us in your du'as and have a very, very blessed first day of Ramadan, inshallah. From myself and from the Sheikh, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, and Ramadan Kareem.
الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين